Hold on, guys. I was just trying to show stand by. Boom. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm attorney Michael Eline, and I am a California and Texas personal injury lawyer, but I also have a background in civil rights and criminal defense. And I used to do a lot of appellate work. And my strong suit is actually Second Amendment rights. I work with Alan Beck. He's one of the preeminent Second Amendment rights lawyers in the country. And he's been making major headway in Hawaii, helping out with the CCW laws, concealed carry weapon laws. And he's argued several cases before the 9th. But I am here today with my buddy Brick Jonesey, and I'm going to have his little icon pop up in a minute. I was just trying to show him my FNP 45 before the show went live, because you can't show your weapons and stuff on YouTube, because that would be a sign of manliness, and they don't allow that. So wasn't able to do that, but let me just look in the comments bar really quick. We got Let's OTVO, good seeing you, brother. Let's OTVO, and Salt Shaker, right on. OTCAF, overturned civil asset forfeiture laws. Give me a bunch of OTCAFs in the sidebar, guys. What's the matter, you? Hey, all right, man. And what's the matter, you says Tulsi gun grabber Gabbard is going to be the head of national intelligence. Oh, that's not good. I didn't know that Tulsi Gabbard was a gun grabber, but I think she was a Democrat, so it makes sense. And then let's see here. Jody Shiloh. Good seeing you, Jody. And Brick Jonesey is here. Steve Ladner, I'm glad you made it. BZ Watchdog, good seeing you. I Am God. I got a chance to talk with I Am God a little bit earlier today. Let me see if I can get Brick up here. Hey, Brick. Right now you're on mute. I'm going to unmute your. Okay, you unmuted yourself. Brick, introduce yourself for us, if you like.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me up here. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm kind of newer to the quote unquote auditing, government accountability world. I'm trying to make sure that I handle things the most professional way that I possibly can. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes it can be frustrating. Right now, I'm pursuing some records requests. And during those records requests, some interesting things have occurred. And I'm sure that we'll get into that. I'm a man of God. I love my God, and I love my country. I love my countrymen. I love my family. Family's first for me. And outside of that, man, I just really want to see some accountability. So again, I appreciate you having me up here, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So I was going to do my kickoff video, but it seems to have been deleted. I've had our buddy helping me out, and some of my videos are gone, but my normal introduction video, I can't find it. So hopefully it's like I'm going to have to create another one. But that video I have where it's got like heavy metal music and I introduce myself. So I'm not able to do that, but what I'll do is I'll just tell you guys that, so I am an attorney licensed in California and Texas. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. And they want to, because I'm talking about stuff that the administrative state hates, more freedom, less government, the bureaucracy and the administrative state and these big corporations. They definitely do not like people like me who talk about homesteading, homeschooling, making sure that you keep your kids away from these bureaucrats who want to brainwash them, sexualize them. That's not what we're into here at Team MPE. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about Brick Jonesey's story, and about basically I'm going to let him explain it to you, but in a nutshell, and again, I'm only licensed to practice law in Texas and California. So everything I talk about is going to have to do with general legal principles, and it's separate and apart from the work that I do at my law firm. Okay. I do personal injury law. I do catastrophic injuries, but I also got beat up by a cop years ago. And that's what inspired me to become a lawyer with no undergrad or law license or law degree. And so I'm one of very few people in the world, actually, since the 1800s or whatever, who has become a lawyer with no undergrad or law degree. And so I'm a little bit different than most people. My background is in construction. I was a Marine. I got disabled from the Marine Corps and had a bunch of businesses, ended up getting beat up by a West Covina cop. And that inspired me to become a lawyer. And so although I make my money doing personal injury cases, my heart is always in civil rights law. And so we've got BZ Watchdog, who helps you guys with doing public records requests. He's one of the best there is. And public records requests are one of the best ways that you can hold the government accountable, by finding out what the hell they did, the tactics that they used to try to make false arrests and deprive you of your rights. And so in this particular case, and BZ's going to correct me anytime he wants, but apparently BZ was in New Mexico, and a dispatcher from a Florida-based police department, a sheriff's department, called to do a welfare check on Brick, not BZ, but
Good
Brick.
job.
Yeah, called to do a records check on Brick, and so
A welfare check, yes.
a welfare check on Brick, and this is the saga of what happened, and we're going to show some of the video, but typically so he's trying to find out who the hell did this welfare check and why. He's trying, because it's kind of like getting swatted. I don't know if any of y'all, give me a bunch of ones in the sidebar if you know what getting swatted means. But yeah, if you ever been swatted, where somebody will call like a hit team to your house, like SWAT guys that are ready to shoot you, claim that you're a crazy person, that kind of thing. In this case, he got welfare check swatted, where they send cops to your location to try to check up on you.
Yep, that's exactly accurate. Yep.
Armed, locked, and loaded, and he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I want to get these records. I want to find out where, who these people in Florida were. And I'm going to do a public records request through Albuquerque, New Mexico, under the New Mexico Inspection of Public Records Act. And so it differs slightly from Florida due to state specific legislation, but it typically applies to a scenario involving a welfare check initiated by a Florida-based police department. In this particular case, that's how this one's going to work. And so under New Mexico's Inspection of Public Records Act, and again, you've got the State Public Records Act, right? But then you're going to have your city-specific rules, and I think that's what Brick's dealing with, where they'll try to bounce you from like department to department. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's actually exactly right. And so we're going back and forth, and as we do that, it's a lack of transparency for sure, but far from accountability at the same time.
Right. And so what they're trying to do is bounce. And I've been through this before with my clients trying to get records, and they'll always play this game. Oh, go to that guy, go to that guy, go to that guy. And they just try to tire you out. Oh, you used the wrong form. You got to use this other form. You got to talk to the city clerk over here first, and then you come back after she stamps it or whatever it might be. But typically, like Florida, New Mexico law presumes all government information and records are accessible to the public unless specifically exempted by law. And there are 12 specific exemptions in New Mexico, which include medical records, letters with personal opinions, law enforcement techniques, and a few other things. But I don't think, based on what we're talking about, any of them would apply to you, because this is about someone from Florida, a Florida sheriff, deputy, or someone trying to check up on you to send a hit team to your house, basically, right?
That's accurate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my opinion, when someone shows up at my house armed, I'm thinking that I'm going to have to be putting some rounds down range. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scary situation, and then on top of that, they're not just showing up with some firearms on their hips, but then coming with a badge claiming authority. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a scary situation,
Yeah, under color of law and color of official right. And of course, it's under the guise of a welfare check. But in reality, it's kind of like what Biden's been doing, where they send FBI agents to your house if you put out a tweet that's critical of their immigration policies, or letting trannies into the military. People who would speak out critically of that, they'll send the FBI to your house to do a welfare check, right? And they do the same thing in England. They're doing it all over the world. If you disagree with leftist Marxist policies, they'll send the police to your house to do a welfare check. And so in your case, I don't know what the underlying circumstances were, but we'll get into it. A similar thing happened to you, and it's terrifying because, you don't really, what are you going to do? They have color of authority. if you try to defend yourself, you end up getting the torture cuffs, you get thrown in jail. And once you're in jail, they control the jail and the prisoners. So they could just, whisper into another prisoner's ear, hey, we'll give you some extra bologna sandwiches if you, do something to this guy.
Yeah,
so
and then he disappeared.
It's terrifying. So in this case, there is a request process where you would request to inspect or copy public records. And normally it would have to be made in writing. You would provide your name, your address, your phone number, and a description of the records with reasonable particularity. And it sounds like you did all that. And then typically the agency is going to have 15 working days to provide an acknowledgement in response. And they'll have to notify you if more time is needed with an explanation as to why they need that time. So did any of that happen here with you?
Yeah, and so the records requests were placed, and then we waited the allotted time. It actually took 14 days before they sent it, and then when they sent it, it wasn't in full. So the records request was sent, but it wasn't completely fulfilled the way it should have been. So we had to return, and going on from that because of time constraint. Obviously, everybody has business to do. You can't just drop everything and run up that day. So got other things going on, and it's just taking a lot of time because they take a lot of time just to get back to you, and then you have to go back up and ensure that your records later on become fulfilled. And so it's not like you just go back up and they say, oh, okay, well, here's the records we forgot. No, they actually have to go digging to find out why it's not provided. And the way that the statute's set up too, I was looking at it. If you do things by verbal request, and supposedly there's like no kind of repercussions for the person who takes the request. So if you do it by verbal, they can just forget about it, and there's no accountability, except for, of course, if you document it, if you take the camera with you, you might be able to make some change in the respect of accountability for their actions. That they're seeing what you're doing on camera. Other people are seeing it, and maybe the constituents will get together and maybe make a change for the better. But,
and what it says here is that you normally would have to pay like a fee, an inspection fee. So is that something you had to do?
So in my case, I'm indigent, right? So I can claim indigent status. Now, the thing about claiming indigent status, there's a form for that. Of course, with a form also comes you would have to give up your Fourth Amendment right. So with that form, what I basically told them prior to what we're going to review, this video doesn't include that. It's another video, is that, I'm not going to give up my Fourth Amendment, but I am indigent, and that's all that you need to know. And also the law allows for negotiation. It's weird the way it's worded. It's basically like, it doesn't say negotiation, but it's like you can talk about it to come to an agreement. It has to be agreed upon. It's like a business deal, right? If you're going to pay this amount, if you come to an agreement, and there is a typical fee, but as a citizen, I'm looking at the situation going, well, what would be reasonable for me is that, considering I'm indigent, I'm not going to also give up my Fourth Amendment to let you know that I am, but I am. And so I just filled out the paper with X's.
Got it. So typically that would be that would be called in forma pauperis, or in the form of a pauper. That's the Latin word that they would use. And in the old days, in the common law era, a lot of paupers were legal scholars, kind of like monks, and they were actually afforded respect by the courts. It's not really like that anymore. But in this particular case, whether or not they're going to honor your claimed indigency without proof, it's would probably have to go up on appeal. Very, very difficult to win that, because they do have the right to have proof that you're indigent. The problem would be that if it does give them the right then to look at your finances, look into your background, your whatever social security, perhaps, I don't know, numbers,
Right.
if you have
Yeah.
that.
It's almost like it's like a legal kind of a meeting where it's a battle there, because
Yeah.
on one end they have the right as the state to
Yep.
question you, but then you also have the right to keep your information private.
Yeah,
So
and there are ways, but it always takes money. That's the problem, where you could try to request an in-camera hearing from a court. An in-camera would mean, in the view of the judge, and then the judge could determine. The judge would have the right to look at all that, but it wouldn't be public. And then the judge could make a determination. But again, you have to be like a lawyer and with money to do that. It costs money and time. So anyways, so really, really quickly, if the agency fails to comply, let's assume that they honor your indigence status and it moved forward.
which
The agency, they did honor it.
Yes.
Okay, so the agency would be required, if they don't, you can sue them in district court to force disclosure. And a successful requester can be awarded about $100 a day in non-compliance fees, court costs, and attorney's fees. So the problem is, if you hired a lawyer, that would take you outside the realm of indigency, because it would be indirect evidence that you have enough money to afford a lawyer. And your attorney couldn't seek attorney's fees, because that would mean that you were paying attorney's fees to your lawyer. It's not like they can work on a contingency fee and get attorney's fees that way. So they really get you by the gonads. Now the attorney general, right?
Yep.
So the attorney general's office can issue an advisory opinion as well on compliance. And it sounds like you're already at that level now, where they're trying to go to the attorney general to like get around having to give you these records. Now, I also did a little research on welfare checks. So if a Florida-based police department requests a welfare check in Albuquerque, a welfare check could involve sensitive information like medical details or a part of an ongoing investigation. And any records that were turned over could potentially be redacted or withheld under the IPRA exemption. And there's also interstate considerations. So there's no direct legal obligation for New Mexico to prioritize out-of-state requests differently. But in this case, it's not an out-of-state request, really. You're requesting records from New Mexico about a call that was made from Florida. So I just wanted to lay a foundation, because I'm a lawyer and I like to lay a foundation. So is that pretty fair so far, what I've said?
Yeah. The only thing, a little small correction, we haven't gone to the level, and they haven't gone to the level of attorney general. We're still in the city process right now.
Okay.
And we're exploring the different options within the city. We know we've still got the council, we've got the police station itself, so we're going to make sure to go beyond what our duty is to make sure that we're giving them the opportunity to shine.
Makes sense. And so Kevin E is asking if this is federal. And no, it's not. This is a state law issue. It would be federal if it was against a federal agency like the FBI or the CIA, that kind of thing. This is a state. It sounds like it's a state police department and another state, two state police departments, really. But the records you're requesting are from just the state of New Mexico, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So there is the opportunity to request from Florida, obviously.
Yeah.
But New Mexico should be able to supply all of that.
Yeah, they got the records. So, all right. So what I'm going to do then is, let me see if I can get this bad chicken up on the screen here. So, your video is pretty doggone long. It's like about an hour. So I'm going to have you help me narrate it. And we're just going to start it. And, people, if you got questions, I'll stop it and we'll try to answer them. But the idea here is for you to see the saga and the drama that it takes to hold the government accountable, guys. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart. So let's get into it.
And this is just one day. This isn't like, the whole thing. This is literally just one small meeting.
All right. Let's get into it. Is that Kid Rock?
Oh, you're good.
No, that's just me. Well, I try to make sure I look professional and that
like Kid Rock.
I got my own style for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this is me calling in because they're. If you want to pause it just a sec.
Yep. Hold on. Go for it, man.
Yeah. So their office, when you go up to the mayor's office, because this is the mayor's office, you go up to the elevator on the 11th floor, and then you go in, and they've got like a little lobby there. They got double doors that are key card locked, and then they've got a phone out there. No receptionist. You pick up the phone, and you have to dial in. So just to kind of give you a little heads up of where we're at there.
What's that PNC? Chinese Communist Party over there?
I'm pretty sure that's a bank.
All right. Okay, I'm going to keep on rolling.
I'd like to speak to someone in regards to some records. Yes. Yeah, I need to speak to someone here because the city clerk and you guys have decided, I don't know why, to refuse to provide the record. So I would like to speak to the mayor, actually. You can tell anybody back there that it's a U.S. citizen and that I am simply just asking for the records that I've been requesting since the 23rd. Please do.
10 minutes later.
What's up, man? How you guys doing? Matt.
Donut Patrol.
Sean.
Good to see you again.
I always like to make sure to document everything. Well, there's no confusion. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
So, we're looking for our records.
Okay. So I found out a couple things. I know we talked about that we wanted the 911 dispatch call. So when I followed up with the clerk's office, they let me know that there was no actual 911 call, that was a dispatch from Levi County's police department. And so that's the memo that was sent that dispatched the officers, but there's no like actual call. So there's nothing that we can give out there because it doesn't exist. That makes sense.
Interesting. That's very, very interesting. All right.
And then I know we talked about wanting the security cameras.
Sure.
So I found out those are held for 30 days. And then to get those, you'll have to do another IPR request for those as well.
Yeah, so we would have done that Tuesday.
Okay. So you requested.
So here's the thing about that too. So they can't be held for 30 days. There's no way. Because the law only allows for them to be held for 15 days. In fact, I should be able to inspect them today after 3 days.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that they like the video files exist for 30 days because
So right there,
we were unsure last time how
Right,
long
pause
the
it.
files were
Yep.
kept for. So I'm saying is that they do.
Talk to us, Rick.
Yeah, so I actually mistaked what he was saying there. Just to clarify there, what he was saying is that the office holds those security footages for 30 days in the office, and if you want to request it, you better get it by 30 days. I was thinking that maybe he was saying that that it would take 30 days before I could get that back, and so he clarified it for me with what he's saying now. But just to kind of clarify it for you guys, what the confusion was there, they do not keep them for 30 days before you get them. Like the IPR request is 15 days. You just have to get it before 30 days because they're going to get rid of it in 30 days.
They'll destroy it.
They'll destroy it, exactly. And then the other thing is the 911 call. I told him, that's interesting. The paperwork, actually, if you go to my community tab, you'll see that in the paperwork, it literally says the call was placed. So that's why I said that was interesting.
So it says that the call was placed as a 911 call?
as a dispatcher. A dispatcher. It says a dispatcher from.
Oh, okay.
Caller was. It literally says caller was a dispatcher from Levy County, which is in Florida.
Got it. Okay. So now here's like in my cases, for example, like personal injury law. Let's say one of my clients trips and falls in a grocery store, and then they call me a month later and they say, "Hey, I want to hire a lawyer and I need you to get those tapes." I'm like,
Mhm.
sorry, those tapes get recorded over like every 3 days. You should have hired me sooner. It
Right.
sounds kind of like what you're going through. You have a 30-day period. If you don't do it within that time, they delete everything, right? They destroy those records.
Well, that the 30 days was for the security footage when we went to the mayor's office because they have cameras in the mayor's office. But the
Yes.
call, no, the call we placed the IPRA request with
Yeah.
With the clerk like
Mhm.
3 days after the incident. So
Do you have evidence it was a recorded call, that they recorded it? The Florida call was recorded like on a tape recording?
So that's what we're looking for. So
Got
when it comes to the Levy County Sheriff's deputy, or not deputy, but dispatcher calling to ABQ to
Yep.
initiate the welfare check, what they're claiming, what they claimed on scene, the officers claimed on scene, and it's in the paperwork, is a call was placed.
Got it.
Now they're walking it back saying, oh no, it was never a call. And rather it was a quote unquote teletype.
Interesting. So, but you can still get that teletype.
Yeah, and we do. In fact, that's on my community post, and we talk a little bit about that in the video as well.
All right, let's get back into it. Here we go, guys.
Do still exist since they are for 30 days.
Okay. So, I'll receive them. I'll be receiving them.
Did you submit a request for those as well?
Yeah, the last time we were here.
Okay. I did. The clerk's office said that they did have a thumb drive available for you. I'm not sure if you've already.
Yeah, I'm not interested in any thumb drives. They can send anything to the email or through the whatever the portal is that you guys have. Look, here's the thing. I'm not playing any games, okay? I've already published enough information on the old YouTubes and the internets that hopefully by now you can tell. Maybe you haven't looked at what's on the internet. Maybe you guys don't realize that you guys are looking really stupid. Maybe you guys don't really realize that. I'm not going to play about this. This is literally going to be going back on the internet. This right here. So I want you to understand that when I made a request, I'm making the request for the records, okay? And if you don't want to fulfill it, well, guess what? I get to ask again and again and again. If it takes me 100 times coming here to print this story, to press, to show that you guys really just do not care about the law, then this is what I will do. I will be back if you do not provide the records, okay? Obviously, you don't have them ready, prepared for me to inspect today, do you?
No, because we're not the clerk's office. So we can't give out any information. It has to go through the clerk's office.
So I'm assuming that all the information is already on the disk already. So if you want it to be an email, I can request that. But they have that disk ready for you to pick up.
And what's on that disk?
I'm assuming the records you guys requested.
Yeah, we didn't
Well,
request any disk.
We didn't request any disk, but if I could
I'll-
hear
I'll-
what the gentleman's saying,
Mhm.
he's under the belief that this disk that they have provided or have made available for us
Mhm.
are supposedly to contain the records.
Did you see the memo about this? Yeah. Yeah, I have the memo right here.
Ready to go to the city clerk's office today?
No, we came here because none of that information was sent to the email.
Okay. Did they reach out to you by any chance last week?
We received the teletype. That's it. That's all I've received. I haven't received anything else other than that teletype.
Yeah,
And that
right.
Okay, so real quick, Brick, I want to ask you just for my own edification. So this teletype, is this from someone like typing what the people from Florida told them?
That's what the claim is, which kind of serves the point of that it's unusual for them to just take some random teletype like that. If you look at the teletype, you'll see what they are claiming. They're claiming that because I was making phone calls to their station, trying to get some answers and some records from Florida, that they were claiming that I was harassing them. And I actually, here's an interesting factor for you, and I'll go ahead and let you know that I record all of my phone calls when it comes to me making my petitions, right? So I do that for this very reason, always record everything, that's what I say. But when they sent the teletype, the claim was that I was making harassing phone calls. And so with that comes, well, where did the teletype's origination start? Like, why would they just take some random teletype, and considering the circumstances of the teletype, and then also the claims of the officers on scene at the day of the quote unquote welfare check, they claimed a call was placed, as well as the incident report says it, and that's on my community post as well, that a call was placed. So the things that they're claiming here about a call not existing versus what the report and the officers on scene that day claim are literally contradictory.
So this teletype, this is a recording of what the Florida Police Department, or a typewritten recording, right?
Exactly.
Allegedly, of what the Florida Police Dispatch told the Albuquerque, New Mexico Police Department dispatch.
Allegedly.
Is that a fair statement? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
That's accurate as far as I know.
Okay. Now, what they gave you as far as the transcript goes, was that a redacted? Was that redacted?
They redacted a birth date, and that is literally the only thing.
Okay. Now, in this video that we're watching, is that anything in there about it? Like, do you discuss it? Does it, like, do you say what it says? Do you show an image of it for people to see?
Yeah. So, I don't show in this video, the image of the teletype. The previous visit, that video, we do show it. I show that on that video, but as I mentioned, it is on the community post as well. And I did my own personal redactions as well for names and dates of birth. So
okay, so maybe one of you guys, you or Let's OTVO, can drop that link so other people can kind of take a look.
if you want to drop that link, that'd be great. And then anybody wants to look at it, it'll be available. If you wanted to pull it up too, it'll be available that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, this is interesting because you have a Florida, so you're petitioning Florida to try to get information, and so it almost looks like retaliation that they contact a sister police department in your state.
Now you're on point.
Yeah. Right. I'm just trying to think like a lawyer, right? And then all of a sudden, you got this team of guys with badges, right, showing up with the golden handcuffs, trying to ask questions about you and make sure you're okay, right? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, they're there for my safety.
But make sure you stay 20 feet away, because then it might hurt their safety, and then you end up like Chili and get thrown in jail for no reason, right?
And don't call them little doggies.
Okay, we're gonna keep on playing. We're gonna keep on playing.
Type was only received,
and you guys have the email
because someone stated that they had overlooked our request.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going back to the records department. I've already gone to the records department. Or the city clerk. Excuse me. I'm not going back to the city clerk. The guy was very dismissive and rude. I want to see the mayor. Because this is absolutely unacceptable.
I understand. So the best way to meet the mayor is to submit a request online. Unfortunately, the mayor has other commitments.
How about let me submit the request right now?
Unfortunately, I'm not the scheduler, so I don't know his.
So let me speak to the scheduler.
So again, we do request you to fill it out online.
I know, and I'm requesting this way.
So I can certainly see if she's available, but again, can't guarantee it'll be today.
Look, you guys are pretending like like I don't know the law, right? Even if I didn't know the law, right? Even if I was absolutely retarded and you guys chose to disobey the law, then you're at fault, not me.
I see you.
If I'm request and you don't choose to fulfill it and it's a reasonable request, what's the problem here? You guys, not me. It's not my job to figure out how to fulfill the request. That's your job.
The request for records or
To see the mayor.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I came here Tuesday to do.
I understand.
Instead, what we did was we gave you guys a little leeway. Now I'm requesting to see the mayor. I want to see the mayor.
Yeah, again, we can certainly see if the mayor is available, but he has other commitments, sir. May not be today, may not be next week, but we can certainly see.
Do you understand what the severity of the situation is?
No, I understand. Again, if
You do.
pick up the records from the city clerk's
No,
office.
you don't. No, it's not about the records. It's not about the records. I do want the records, but you don't understand the severity of the situation, do you? You don't know what the situation is.
No.
You didn't look into it at all, did you?
Well, no, sir. Just first time coming out.
Okay. Police officers knocked on this gentleman's door. Did
Oh.
damage to his door, okay? And I want the records of why they did it.
So
And I'm assuming that's because of the
Here, I'll stop it.
Levi County.
Go ahead, Brick. Tell us.
yeah, so you know, just to kind of make this point, you know, I try to handle the thing as professionally as I can. Like I said, you know, sometimes it does get frustrating, and I can't help but to use certain language. Of course, you know, I'm not, you know, lashing out at them, I'm not doing any damage. But the main point is that I'm trying to make sure that they fully understand the severity of the situation, right? And as you'll see in this video, it's a good video because it ends really well. But the officers, when they came, they actually the one who knocked on the door first. The second time he knocked on the door with the flashlight, and he actually did scratch the door, probably dented it. And then as he walked away from the door to go back around the corner to the other side of the garage so that he couldn't be seen when somebody comes to the door, he also looked down at the bottom of his flashlight. So he knew that he had done that damage, right? It wasn't like
paint transference or whatever.
Yeah, that's exact. He was looking to see if there was paint transfer, right?
Yeah.
Now, we know that because we got the body cam and we see him look at the bottom of his flashlight after he beat on the door with the flashlight. So he knew what he did was wrong. And so, you know, I feel like if he's willing to, you know, do damage to somebody's door just to make loud enough noise to try to get somebody to come to the door, you know, how much further will they go? That's kind of the thing, is like, that's the severity of the situation when I say that, you know.
Well, Grateful Dab says your poor door took a beating like it was painted black.
It did, man. Yeah, you know, and
Good.
it takes, you know, it costs a lot of money to paint a door, to repaint a door like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, still looking for the other records though. So I just wanted to point that out. It is.
They saw a red door and they wanted it painted black.
That's right, man. That's right.
Okay, Let's Go TBO says smash that like button. I don't even know there is a like button, guys, but what you do is we're in vertical mode. So double tap it. That gives you likes, and make sure to subscribe also and save and share it too, because you never know the thought police are going to take down this channel. And you can see, like, you know, when you share stories like, so this, look, I know it may not, this isn't like the, you know, police beating on people video, but listen to what's happening here. This is a dude who's reaching out to Florida Police Department trying to get records and information from Florida. They don't like it that he's doing it. So what do? They contact New Mexico police, and they convince their sister police department in New Mexico now to send, basically, in my opinion, like a hit team over to his house. They're beating on his door with a flashlight, doing damage to his door, trying to make sure he's okay. So, you know, as a lawyer, this is something that really is offensive to me, the way it's being done, because it's clearly an intimidation tactic. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. This looks like it's an intimidation tactic. I'm going to see him if you agree. But let's get back into the video, and you can keep on. Tell me when to stop whenever, brother.
Yeah, man.
Requested the APD to do
It's
offer
because
check.
ABQ can't control their police officers. It doesn't matter what Levy County requested of ABQ. What does Levy County have power over ABQ of? Levy County is in Florida.
And
There
I
you
was
go.
assuming that they submitted the request for a welfare check.
I don't know what they submitted.
Yeah, they sent some kind of a medical.
So hold on a minute. So I just wanted to get something straight here. So
Yeah.
the other day, Brick, we had a situation down the street where police were called by family members of an older gentleman who had passed away.
Yes.
So they called directly to the local police department to have them do a welfare check because they're related family members,
Yes.
and they want to make sure that their loved one is okay. So, like, do you have any family members on the Florida police that are like, care about you, that would want to do a welfare check?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking. I mean,
Good
so
question.
weird.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
I
well,
haven't even considered that kind of thing.
Well, I've been practicing law for about 20 years, so give me a little bit of credit. I got
Yeah.
got a few tricks up my sleeve. Let's keep going.
I saw a
expert to
teletype.
conduct that, did they?
Oh yeah, I don't know what the request was, so
Yeah, and your police officers, your dispatch isn't very good about recording phone calls.
Hey, Jody.
well it wasn't a phone call. From what I understand, it was a memo.
It was a memo. So you just dispatch your police officers based off of a memo sent from some random county in Florida? What is this, a blue line gang?
No, sir. We're gonna do this like any other request for a welfare check.
Well, all
No.
I know is that I came in
No,
here on the
that's not fair.
23rd of September and requested these records, and I made it point clear exactly why I wanted the records, which I shouldn't have to.
So just, and by the way, I made your icon disappear. You can still talk though. I just did it so people could see me better.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but what I'm trying, I want to let the audience know the other dude talking, that's Let's OTVO. He's in the audience with us, and is it fair to say that that's his residence that they went to, or?
Yes,
Okay.
that is
Okay.
accurate. Yes.
So that would give him the right then to request these records in addition to the person they were trying to do the welfare check on, which would be you.
Yes, that is accurate.
So that would give you both authority to be requesting those records. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, yes. And of course, because I am indigent, we are, I'm just simply doing it myself. It's,
Yeah.
it's no need of paying for something twice.
Yeah,
You know.
he's there like to show moral support as a witness, maybe to hold the camera.
Indeed.
And by the way, the dude's about 20 feet tall, so probably these guys don't want to mess with him.
Yeah. And consider he is, as far as character goes and material, he is a witness
Yeah.
to this whole shebang, the whole debacle.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I just was trying to lay a little bit of a foundation, like who is this guy in the background? Because probably some of the people in the audience don't know. I just want to give it some context because, people are probably like, who are these two yahoos, talking to these guys? What's going on? I want to kind of like put them into the environment, what's going on. So you're literally just trying to get records from Florida Police Department. And so now they decide that they're worried about you. And so they want to do a welfare check on you. And they send these guys down to your house where you're staying, and they bang on the door with a flashlight, do some damage to the door, transfer paint from the door onto their flashlight. Yeah, okay, so let's keep going.
Do when I'm requesting the records, but I wanted to make it clear to the clerk that of why I wanted them. She was able to interpret certain things in my request as to what I was looking for and fulfill it that way. But it just seems like when she's trying to obtain the records from the police department is where she's running into the hurdles.
No problem.
So you've claimed that there is no dispatch call. That's not the claim of the officers. It's posted. These officers claimed that there was a phone call placed. Now, if you want to claim at this point, and the clerk and the police want to claim at this point that there is no dispatch, well, I guess we'll just have to take your word. Because guess what? I don't have access to the records. You do, right? You guys have access to the records. The clerk has access to the records. You guys can hide all that stuff. I can't, because I can't even get access to it. I can't hide it because I can't even access it. So it's absolutely unacceptable. So I want to see the mayor.
I understand. So again, I can certainly see if the schedule is available. If not, we can certainly get you.
suggest
What do you mean
you
see
do
if a
that
schedule?
fairly soon.
See if a schedule's available. What, is he never available at some point?
Well, sir, I mean, I'm assuming you would know that he's a mayor of a pretty big city.
Yeah,
Yeah,
has
and
a
everybody
commitment.
has their
Budget.
home to care for. Everybody has their people, their loved ones to care for, right? But you guys don't mind sending police officers to knock on somebody's door based upon some what? Welfare check? Where the police who knocked on the door stated in clearly that some supposed trespass order was given from Levy County. Now that wasn't included in the teletype.
Okay.
How did he get that information? It's clear and obvious that a phone call was placed somewhere, somehow. That wasn't included in the teletype. Now stop lying to me.
No, again, I'm assuming that's all in the flash drive.
Stop lying to me. A phone call was placed. Stop looking me in the eyes and lying to me like a sorry little politician.
So I guess what they're trying to say is that information that you want is in this flash drive. So like explain to us why you don't want the flash drive.
Yeah, for the viewers, definitely. So I'm really not interested in obtaining some flash drive because I really don't trust the government. I'm definitely worried when it comes to accepting electronic devices that I'm going to be plugging into my computer. It's not that I have anything to hide. I'm not interested in having them crash my computer or even viewing anything on my computer, right? And I know that they could easily access that stuff
That
anyway.
makes sense.
But just for clarification, it really wouldn't even matter if I wasn't worried about that. Ultimately, we made the request to be sent through the email, and they have like a portal, right? And so sending it the way through the email so that we can open it like that, it only makes sense to me anyway.
Is there a way that you could
the whole idea of
go ahead? No, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say the whole idea of sending it through the flash drive is kind of a moot point now. I will tell you that we ended up accepting in the end of this, just to kind of give a spoiler alert. The flash drive.
Okay.
But that doesn't change the fact that I didn't want it that way.
Understood. So now, but would there have been a way that you could like go to like Kinko's or something and plug it into one of those computers and print everything up there, and that way obviate the necessity of putting it into your own home computer, for example?
Yeah, or a library or something like that. Yeah, that would definitely be possible. And
all right, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like, okay, so Grateful Dabs is saying I will plug it into my computer and send it my way. I'll find out if there's spyware on it. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, so it sounds like we've got some pretty cool people in here who are pretty tech savvy. That would look. The reason I'm asking this is because wouldn't it be interesting if we could forensically go through that flash drive and see if somebody had planted some kind of a device or spyware, something. I'll be honest with you, it's really weird to me that a Florida police department would want to do a welfare check to make sure you're okay, and that another police department in a faraway jurisdiction would want to act on it. So I'm just trying to understand like why you're so important to them. I guess they'd want to do a welfare check. Just kind of weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah. So this particular county is the same county where I was tackled in that other video that I have on my channel. And so they held me in jail for 22 days.
Holy crap.
Now, yeah. And I was forced out of duress. That was the agreement to sign a trespass warning from a private property. And so as I'm sitting there in jail, I'm not going to say no to that. It's like, yeah, let me out. I didn't do anything. The charges were dropped. I clearly did nothing wrong. And if you look at the video, I'm literally, tackled. I told the guys to go get a warrant, and they didn't want to go get a warrant. And so, that the idea that, you can just be hauled off to a dungeon at any point in time, it's wild to me, for anything. And then they just decide what the charges are later.
Yeah, that's typical. Yeah, I get it. All right. So basically this whole colloquy here, because I don't have a whole lot of time, because I do have to take Gunny to judo tonight. I don't have a pass. How many minutes more can I push it forward? Because it's a long video, man. It's like an hour.
So it's a long video.
Yeah,
I would say if you want to skip ahead, so there's a point where I show them, I tell them about the oath of office that I'm looking for.
Okay. So right now I'm at about 12 minutes and 21 seconds in. How much further off?
Right there. It's like a form. You'll see a form pop up.
Right there.
That's not it.
10 minutes later.
Nope.
Keep going. All right. I'm going, brother. There it is. There's a phone. Is that it?
No. So ultimately, I've also requested, and I'll just let you know, I've requested their oath of office, the officers who were on scene.
Yeah, their fidelity bond.
Just the simple oath of office, right?
Right.
I know that they've got the bond as well. Really, ultimately, I'm interested in pulling that as well.
These two characters right here.
But
these guys. Right?
No, not off of these guys.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, no, off of the officers who came to do the welfare check.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to skip ahead to this section here, yeah, that's good. Because they come back, right? Right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
So is it so?
So this one dude's had a little bit too many tacos.
Lima, E as in Echo, T as in Tango, Z as in Zulu, 0.
Oscar Tango, Tango Victory Roman. Yeah.
And Oscar at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so they're going, and you can leave it running.
Okay.
They're going in to check with the clerk's office.
15 minutes later.
Good editing, by the way. That's led. So his head's scraping on the ceiling. He's like Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, they're checking to see if the clerks have that ready. They offer to go and get the thumb drive. I had made a call prior to this moment here back to the back because they had gone to the back, and we were trying to see what was going on because they were back there for like a really long time.
Yes, this is the gentleman out in the lobby that we were told that we would be waiting approximately a half hour to speak with the gal supervisor that was rude to my partner here. And it's been almost about 45 minutes, and I was wondering if you might be able to give me an update. Thank you.
Yeah, so while we were there, I had made that call to see what was going on. She was rude, like while they were in the back. I'm like, hey, what's going on? We're just sitting out here waiting.
Yep.
Like this is one of the reasons why the video is so long, because literally as we're trying to find out what's going on, they got us sitting out here for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes at a time, just sitting there waiting for them to come back out. But they're supposed to be checking on this stuff. I mean,
Right.
I don't know what they're doing back there, you know what I'm saying? And then they come out after we pushed to try to see the supervisor, which is the communications department head.
Got it. So once you demand to see the comm head, all of a sudden they come back.
Yes.
All
Yes.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So you can go ahead and skip ahead a little bit to when they come back.
All right. Here they are. Okay.
The mothers there.
All right. So at the clerk's office, they do have on the flash drive, HR and IA files for the officers that were responding on the scene.
Okay.
So do you want me to pick that up for you? It's going to be too large to send via email. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
How
so-
long's the office open till today?
5 o'clock.
All right.
5 o'clock.
If you want me to pick it up, I can do so.
I mean, that'd be fine. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be great.
Yeah, if you're gonna go out of your way.
Seems like they're trying to be nice.
If you guys don't want to go there, that's totally fine. I totally get it. I can pick it up for you and have a flash drive here.
That's awesome. So I'm indigent, so if they claim that I need to pay for it, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I appreciate that. And then so it's the IA and the
HR files.
HR files. Was the oath?
Like we said, the oath was a verbal one, so there's really no document.
It's just the ceremonial
There should be one. For
Uh,
every single officer who is an officer in the state of New Mexico, they are required to sign via the Secretary of State an oath of office certificate.
It's every public
is it
servant.
through Secretary of State or
That's right.
and then I think that would be with the state then.
Yeah.
We were only for the city. We can only provide documents for the city.
No, you should still be able to provide all of that. Yeah.
Should be a
Well,
copy of it
it's
with the
captured
city
with the
recorder,
state, I don't
county
know if it's-
recorder.
But again, it's just me though. Again, I'm not familiar with the.
Yeah, in order for an officer to be an officer, it doesn't matter which agency, which department, it's still have to sign an oath.
It's a state peace officer certificate, oath of office.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, I know that there may be some confusion on you guys' part on that. That's a possibility. But there is always, and it doesn't matter what state, every state is, you still assign peace officer certificate.
and what's the name of the certificate again?
It's an oath of office. Oath, I mean, it should be called oath of office, I'm pretty sure, because I
Oath of
literally,
office
Yeah,
certification.
this is where I actually put it up.
There's a
morning.
form that's
Put my-
a required form that
Yeah.
every officer
I literally, because
signs. They don't just say, "Oh, yeah, I do." It's sworn. It's like when you swear in a
So-
president. There's some place he's got to sign his oath. All right.
so I literally went on to the Secretary of State
There it is.
site earlier
Cool,
today,
cool.
putting my video together,
Secretary of State.
snapshotted it, and put it
Yeah.
into my video and it says right across it, example, unfilled. It's literally
Same
on the
as the
Secretary
prior
of
video.
State's
Okay.
website. Yeah, you can't miss it. And so if they're an officer, it doesn't matter what agency, they're still gonna have to have one of those. I mean, I know that there's probably some ceremonial verbal thing,
Mhm.
but it's the same thing with every state. Every state has that law.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can check on that. So
Appreciate
again, I can certainly let them know about that. If
I think it's kinda
not be
weird.
available today.
Mhm.
But
Sarah, hold on.
That's understandable.
Okay.
That's
Go ahead, Brick.
I just think it's kind of, I think it's kind of weird that they would want to hide their oath of office when it's something that can be easily obtained, what they would actually be signing if, like, so the claim is that Albuquerque police officers do not sign a sworn oath of office. Rather, they do a verbal oath of office in front of the chief or whatever. I've
That's
never
interesting.
heard of that.
Well, typically, the way it worked historically is that you'd swear your oath or affirm your oath before an officer who's swearing you in, and then you would sign your oath, and then that oath, that signed oath, would then be used as collateral against what's called a fidelity bond. And that fidelity bond
Right.
is a bond guaranteeing that you'll be true and faithful to the Constitution. And if you violate it, it can be cashiered. And that's what the Freemen were doing and the original sovereign citizen movement were doing when I was young. And what people were doing is defaulting when they didn't pay the bond, and then getting money against the bond. I think I don't know how they were doing it, but there is a way that it can be done. But ultimately, the FBI shut them down. But that's the historic way it was done. Is your oath has to be backed by a bond. It's just like if you're driving a car and you can't afford auto insurance, there is a way you can get a bond. You can pay for a bond in lieu of buying insurance, and that's basically what it does. It's like an insurance policy that assures that if you're unfaithful to your bond, it can be cashiered. You can sue them
Yeah.
against the bond.
So in that regards, there's like in my mind the possibility that they're not wanting to release that because that would then release the printed and signature name of the person who essentially caused those violations on scene that day.
Have you spoken to BZ Watchdog about, because he could help you do a public records request to specifically obtain with particularity the signed or unsigned bond, because if it's not signed by the officer, it would have to be signed by the person who swore them in, for example. I mean, there should be a way to obtain the bond as well as the oath of office. But if you don't plead, with particularity, they can object that it's vague and ambiguous and overbroad, and that's usually what they do. And so then you have to file a lawsuit or bring another one. So how is that working out? Have you done that yet?
So I am reaching out, as well as, yes, that is definitely something I'm doing. BZ is a awesome person. I really appreciate him. He's a great guy, man. Yeah, definitely. And then as well as that's also the reason I want to point this out, why I'm documenting everything that I do, so when I make the request that, if they say, well, it's ambiguous and that sort of thing, well, that very well may be. However, when I go in there and they're going, well, we don't sign any certificate. Well, that's not vague and ambiguous anymore. You're just claiming that you just don't sign anything.
Well, he may not even know. If he is that the taco eater guy? Is he a sworn officer or what is he? A clerk? I don't even understand it.
So he is part of the communications team. However, you're right. He's relaying the message from the clerk's office. So it's the clerk who's claiming that this is the case. But the reason, of course, that the clerk is claiming that is because the officers in the records department are claiming this.
Got it.
So it's convoluted because it's getting passed down the line, and somewhere, someone along the lines is lying. It's just a matter of who's going to own up to the lie.
Well, we also have to find out. We also have to do hopefully BZ can help you do a more specific request for those documents. It sounds to me like these guys are like sacrificial lambs and they don't really know anything. Like they're just sending them out there.
Yeah, right? That's right.
Let's send out the dumbest people we have.
Exactly.
We'll send out the dumbest people we have because that
but
way
they're learning. These guys are actually these guys, and you'll see here in a minute. They they already made the offer to go and get it. And we do accept it. And so just so that you don't have to sit here and continually watch and all that. And it's a great video. I love it. I know you guys do too, but I know that, time is always strength. So they offered and we accepted the request. So if you want to skip ahead a little bit to where they come back from going and getting.
Well, here we go. 15 minutes later. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, what's up, man? All
Sweet.
right.
Is that for you?
Sweet, man. Thank you. Awesome. Very cool. And this contains
The IA and HR files. The officers that responded.
All right. Very cool. Very cool.
The 911 and the oath of office. Do we need to read?
Well, the 911. Again, to reiterate, because I do remember it was only a teletype, supposedly. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. We're gonna worry about this other stuff first, because we might be able to get that from Levy.
Right.
So I can pursue
It's
that.
it's just the idea that we know that they can get it from Levy.
That is true. That is.
I think it's just like an
Because I'm making the request here.
Yeah, that may very well be necessary.
Yeah, they do look like kids, don't they?
The big guy, his title is Intergovernmental
We'll let you guys have
Affairs
the time
or something like
see
that.
if it's possible.
So he's actually the guy.
Obviously,
right?
Wow.
Essentially of the communications team.
Yeah.
That would be
So
that
it
would
was
be-
good that he came out.
Agency to Levi's agency.
right, because that wouldn't be IPRA. That would
I think-
be FOIA.
I think they already gave that to you guys, right? Through next request.
Well, the teletype we have received.
Yeah.
However, the phone call itself, right? So we've requested through IPRA, right, which is New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the federal request, which is the FOIA. You know what that is, right? Okay.
Freedom of Information Act.
Right. So maybe, just maybe, you guys can obtain that for us from Levy.
We personally, we wouldn't, because we're not the records, custodian records, but the city clerk can certainly do that. If you,
The request
But I can
for
make-
that record, if they're not
But I
holding
can-
it and all they have is that teletype,
Right.
we know that there was a audio phone call that generated that teletype.
Right. But we also know that we can make the request from here.
Right.
Through you guys. You just have to send it. And I know it'll take time for that. And I'm not sure what the time frame for a FOIA is. It's probably something similar.
Yeah,
It might
wha-
not be 15
whatever
days,
the-
but we
whatever
can
the
wait
waiting
for
period
that.
So
obviously.
I'm a little confused because FOIA is federal. So why is there a federal issue here? You there, Brick?
So I was talking to them a little bit about the possibility of just simply doing a FOIA rather than an IPRA, right?
Right. But that would be through the federal government,
Um,
and this is a state issue. So how do the feds fit in here? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know, I don't know the whole deal with the FOIAs. I've read up on the IPRAs, you know,
Yeah.
the IPRA requests.
Yep.
So the FOIA, I'm not sure exactly where I need to go and all of that. And so I'm asking basically, you know, and ultimately the thing is that I'm also, and I just want to be clear here, you know, I'm no, you know, professional, you know, I've been doing this for years and years.
Yeah, you're just
right?
trying to learn.
What I'm
You're
really
trying to understand.
partially.
Yeah.
So I am definitely trying to learn as much of it as I can, but
Yep.
I want to see, I'm not going to lie. I want to see how far they're willing to go and how far they're not willing to go. Are they going to reach out and actually do something for a constituent, especially
That
when
makes
the
sense.
constituents' rights have been violated, right? Like
Yep.
consider it an audit, a records request audit, because
Yep.
you know, as much as I want to just, you know, come in there and throw down some statutes, you know, they should be willing and eager as part of the elected body. That's the cabinet of the elected body. They should be
Yeah.
eager and willing to, you know, reach out and say, yeah, we're going to help you to solve what happened here. But they're not, right? Now, these kids are doing a really good job. Actually, by the way, in this video, Let's did an audit as well, a 1A audit, and the big guy passed with flying colors, man. Like the 5 elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
That is
We'll
cool.
put that audit on his page. Yeah,
Yeah, if
he
you want-
likes to do the 5 elements.
If you want,
Go
you
ahead.
guys can drop it in the sidebar too. You know, I'm cool with that. And by the way, share, share Brick's link to his channel. So, you know, a couple times, while we're doing the show, so people can like and subscribe to him who are watching the show right now. Make it happen.
Yeah, and so yeah, man. I just want to reiterate, man. Partially, I'm auditing to see how much they're willing to do. Like, okay, I do want the records, but if they're going to be so corrupt that they're not even going to help, like, I want that to be known. I want
Yeah.
to see how honest they really are.
All right, well, let's
ahead.
keep on playing. Let's keep on going.
Obviously.
we're
So I
obligated
would
to
like
it.
to make that request.
Yeah, so
To
again,
FOIA.
I can email the city clerk's office again for that.
Okay.
For the federal side of the
Perfect.
records inspection.
Perfect.
But again, Just letting you know, I'm not a records custodian. So.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely. And I do understand that completely. Obviously, we're making a request through you for information that they should be able to provide.
And that'll be the same email address?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything's
Perfect.
on that email address.
And then also, I know that the last time we had requested the footage from the security footage for the first time we were here. This is 3 times we've been here. Can I get the footage for all 3 times? Is that possible for today and Tuesday?
Yeah, again, that would be like another IPA request. Again, we don't generate those requests, but I can send an email if that's a possibility.
Perfect.
That if we can request that, or if you'll have to do that.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. So just those two requests.
There may come a time that I'll be requesting all officers' disciplinary records for Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Along with all their oaths of
Maybe.
office certificates, just to have as a matter of course, to have on hand. I mean, it's something I don't think that's unreasonable given the circumstances.
Yeah. We may very well be back for that.
Yeah.
And we may go to the city for that.
Right.
Or the clerk
I
for
just,
that.
because
We do understand.
when you have to explain it to so many different people, this really shouldn't even have to be explained. It's kind of like when you're trying to hide something, you can't remember, what the lie is, and it's easy to.
And here's another thing. So we do understand that there's the possibility of a time factor, right? That's why the 15 days are allowed. We also understand that when we make a request through a outside party from the clerk's office or whatever office, so there's that too. But the request stands. We do want those two.
Without actually boning up on the IPRA laws, shouldn't
FOIA.
an individual, well, it's IPRA here.
It's IPRA in the New Mexico statute, but then there, of course, is any federal
We'll override
FOIAs.
that.
And like I said, I don't know the time frame of FOIA. Obviously, I'll look that up, and whatever time frame is necessary, we'll give plenty of time for that. And then that should arrive within that time frame to
Right.
our email.
Yeah, what the point that I was trying to make is, and without doing the research, this is just off the cuff with you gentlemen. I was under the impression that if I had a problem with a particular state agency, that I could go to any state agency and request information. And it was the duty of that person to transmit it to where it needed to go. Just like you picked up this file for me today, in essence, if you take it the bad way. So when we were here last week and we requested that footage, to me, that was like a records request. So, we don't have it now, but
Yeah,
we're willing to wait for it. But it's just,
So-
we're just trying to make sure that
everything's
everything's done
Hold
the
on,
way
Stop
it's
it here.
supposed to happen.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so what he is saying is accurate. He's right about that. When you go to a state agency, it really doesn't matter which state agency in the New Mexico statute. That agency, you can send in an IPRA. Now, when it comes to the verbal thing, there's kind of an honor system with that. So they can make mistakes. They're allowed to make mistakes. Sometimes they make mistakes on purpose. And it just becomes chopped up to nothing. He's accurate in that. And so when we're doing these records requests and we're documenting it and we're showing that they're not willing to honor that system, it really kind of puts a bad light on whatever department that is. In fact, we just did a live request today. We went into a substation here and simply just verbally requested through the IPRA to retrieve their policies for procedures manual, administrative manual, general orders manual. And so when we did that, they attempted to send us to the website or to call downtown or to go downtown to get that stuff. And the lieutenant was very dismissive. He just put the piece of paper on the table and basically ran away from the camera. It was actually quite comical, to be honest with you. He didn't honor the request, and then I requested to speak to the commander of that substation. The commander came to the window, stayed behind the glass, and I made the same request, and he completely refused as well. So, you know, that goes to the point of documenting, and I was live at the time, and it really showed that they don't care. Like, they really just yeah, it's really sad. You know, they claim to swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States, but they don't even know our rights. So how can they possibly swear to uphold something of a right that they don't even know, and they won't honor any of the laws? It's wild to me.
Well, they don't understand the significance of what's going on. In my estimation, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Look, just from my point of view, you know, I don't understand how a foreign country, because that's what another state is. It's a foreign country with no family ties to you, would have the jurisdictional capability of doing a welfare check on you. And then it's really not a welfare check. It's an intimidation check. They're basically using, under color of law and color of official right, they're basically like sending a shotgun shell around the world to you, using another police department. And there is an actor of the other police department. I mean, I think there's just more to this than meets the eye. I'm curious to see if BZ Watchdog is able to help you uncover some stuff. And it would be interesting to see if you could do some public records requests from Florida. But I think that for the viewers' sake, it'd be good if you're able to condense everything into clips. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, like take, you know, 5 hours worth of stuff and try to condense it into like 20 minutes, because that's going to hold the attention more of people, because most people have the attention span of a poodle. So, you know, and that, because I think that you get that out there, you know, somebody on that police department, somebody with the city, they're going to figure it out. You know, like, these guys they got something here. Like, there's a major policy violation somewhere. I don't see how there could have ever been a welfare check instituted by a foreign country, and it wasn't treated like a welfare check. It was enacted more like intimidation tactics. Like, they were there to try.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know if you actually saw the video. So I actually did also a matchup of all the body cam along with the video that I shot that day, the live stream
I saw
of the supposed welfare check.
Yeah, I saw
And
some
so
of it. I couldn't believe it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if you see it, you know, you'll see that, you know, they were intent to intimidate. They weren't there for a welfare check. In fact, the officer at one point says, "Well, who says I'm just here for a welfare check?"
Yeah. So it's
well,
it's
yeah. If you're not here for, yeah.
Well, and Jeff just said he got a note in his mailbox that he can't fly his U.S. flag. Guys, man.
I'm happy you got that note.
I don't get it, man.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like the gist of the story is pretty much there. I mean, you've shown, you know, pretty much the gist of it. You know, this is from a supposed welfare check from Florida, where they were sending officers from Albuquerque department to this residence in the hopes that that they would intimidate me from stopping making my petitions known or
That,
stopping
yeah,
making records suggests.
that's what I think. So,
Well, it kind of,
well, yeah,
ahead.
what I was thinking is that there may be a connection between like some of these officers on that department and some of the officers in that other department in Florida. Like there may be a potential conspiracy. And so what I'm trying to determine is, I think that BZ could help. I think you need to find out what's going on in Florida as well. You need to be doing public records requests over there to see if there's some kind of a connection. That there could be a lot. It sounds like there's more than meets the eye. That's all I'm pointing out here. And I have watched the videos of them showing up at the place where it looks like Let's is out there with his sandals or barefoot or whatever. And, they're asking him questions, and
Yeah, man.
it just sounds kind of weird that they would show up out of the blue like that. To me, it's like they're casing you guys out and doing like recon work for someone over in Florida.
Yeah.
I guess that's the point. That's what I'm thinking. This doesn't seem
that's pretty accurate, I would say.
just weird.
No, it's, in my opinion, there's some retaliation going on. It's also probably some showing how big they are compared to how small I am, kind of thing. You know, it's like, you're nobody, dude. I think that's probably some of it as well. It's like, I just got here, and Florida's like, you know what? You just got there, but we got friends,
That's what I was thinking that. Have you spoken to any local counsel, like civil rights attorneys out there in New Mexico, to see if there's a potential like civil rights claim, harassment claim, or even an administrative, like filing an administrative complaint against the against the cops that showed up?
No, I haven't reached out to anybody like that. Not yet. I'm interested in the legal repercussions of it. I want to make sure that I do my due diligence, because I do know that, and you know it very well because you are a lawyer, that lawyers only have so much time in the day. So I want to make sure that I get as much information compiled as possible. I want to make the job as easy as possible to go over it and look at it and say, yes, there's some things that are problems here, or no. And so if I have as much information as I can possibly get, including documentation of my own, every time I go in there making these requests and they deny it, that's just another piece of evidence. So no, I haven't. But we're trying to pursue it as much as possible. And there's the old saying, love my governor, give him a shout out. We don't stop.
Right. So I'm thinking, right. I'm thinking that if there's a way that you could condense the stuff, the salient points, that maybe the local news might get involved, because if you could get local press, that could change the dynamics. It's really disconcerting to me that Florida could initiate an action where armed officers show up to where you're staying unannounced, to do a so-called welfare check, which clearly was done with the purpose of intimidation. It was done to intimidate you. And
me personally.
It also, and it also causes damage to your reputation, because when neighbors see police show up at your house, people take that as though you're a lawbreaker. I'm just telling you, as a lawyer, I know how this works.
That's right.
And if you're renting, it can cause the landlord to want to evict you. I mean, there are a lot of repercussions. Look, a lot of people may not understand this, but I do. It's pretty serious, man. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of bad outcomes that can come from it. And, it's a reputation thing. It's a physical thing. It's financial, all sorts of things that can happen. So you're right, man. Emotional. I mean, when it comes to emotional stuff, that can lead to spiritual damage,
Oh, absolutely.
The funny thing about it is that, these officers, and these government agents, you know, they don't even consider, you know, that you are just another human being out there. They're just like, that's a subject.
Well,
You're not a
yeah,
human
that's
being
right.
to
You're a
them, you're a
subject.
subject.
You're a subject. Yeah, government employees, they treat everyone like they're a subject. That's why I'm a big proponent of abolishing most of the administrative state, getting rid of these bureaucratic agencies. They basically just become political tools where there are unions like Service Employees International Union, a bunch of Marxists donate money to their political party in order to get bigger pensions and grow the bureaucracy. And people like you are their enemy. Because you're not going along with the program. People who support homeschooling, people who support homesteading. We saw what happened to the Amish, with Sleepy Joe. As soon as he took power, all these blue-haired bandits were going and raiding all the organic farms. Basically, a bunch of Marxists that freshly graduated from college, get a job with the Biden administration, and immediately start raiding the Mennonites and the Amish, trying to fine them hundreds of thousands of dollars, trying to destroy their way of life. Why? Because they're trying to push this globalist government where you have no natural rights, where there is no God. All your rights come from the state. And this last administration is a prime example of what they're trying to do. They want everyone to fit inside an anchovy box. And either you're part of the government, part of the administrative state, or you're a subject. And I think that pretty much sums it up. And so, when something like this is happening to you, other people will say, oh, it's not really that big of a deal because that's not happening to me. But, my famous saying that it's actually not mine, but, they came for the veterans, but I wasn't a veteran, right? You've heard that one, right? So it didn't matter to me. They came for the alpha males, but I wasn't an alpha male, so it didn't matter to me. And by the time they came for me, there was nobody there to defend me. And that's
by the time they came for the blue hairs.
That's right, and that's right, bro. And that's why I like to cover things like this. Yeah, it's not like John Freeman battling with the Border Patrol agent or whatever, getting torture cuffs slammed on him, but it's equally as important as a matter of public significance. So I guess I got to praise you for standing up for your rights, you and Let's, and not giving up. And I also want to thank BZ Watchdog for helping you all with your public records requests. And then I want to tell everybody in the sidebar, we don't have millions of people here today. We only got like 60 people in the chat, but the people that are here, like and subscribe to BZ and Brick. And if Let's OTVO has a channel, I don't even know if Let's has a channel. Hey, Ralph, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, he has a channel.
Okay, yeah, but like to everybody, like Ralph, you missed it, but just play it back. We're covering a story of basically how Brick and Let's got swatted by the Florida police because Brick had the audacity to basically petition the Florida police. And so the Florida police reached out to the Albuquerque police and had these armed thugs come to where they stay and bang on their door, cause damage to their property. And now they're playing like musical chairs with trying to not turn over the information as to who made these requests and how it all went down. And so they're just constantly going down there and trying to hold the government accountable. And you can see that they're making everybody uncomfortable at the local offices there. And, the governor doesn't want to see them. By the way, I'm interested to see if you do the formal route to try to request a visit with the governor, if he'll even grant you an audience. I mean, maybe entertain him and fill out those, see what happens. You might be surprised, that he meets with you. But this is very disconcerting to me because there's no legal justification in my mind for what happened to you guys. And so I want everybody to give me a bunch of ones for Brick and Let's OTVO for standing up for their rights, because Benjamin Franklin said we could either hang together. If we don't hang together, we're all going to hang separately. And what that means is if we don't hang together as a team MPE, team DLZ, we're all going to hang separately from the gallows. And it's a really big deal that we support each other and that we form parallel systems. And the least among us needs to be the first among us. We need to think like that as people who support constitutional republic. Always put other people first and look after your brothers and sisters. Form parallel systems so you don't have to participate in the great Leviathan. You saw how those young men were kind of treating them. They kind of treated them with indifference, and that's how the government treats people, unfortunately, who stand up for their rights, with indifference or with disdain. There's only two ways they treat us: if it's indifference or disdain. And so I encourage everybody to learn the law, read the writings of Thomas Aquinas, of John Locke, and check out Brick's channel and Let's OTVO's channel. I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow night or not, guys. I've been having some health issues, and I promised my son that because I haven't been taking him to judo, so I'm going to take him tonight. But I want to thank everybody for showing up, Ralph, and Life Under the Microscope, and Daily Disdain. I hope that Ralph's not really quitting the channel. Ralph says he can't click on anything to go to these websites when you're in vertical. So it's hard to understand. Sorry, Ralph. I'm trying my best. And then Rami, thanks for showing up. Thanks for helping me out with stuff. I hope we don't lose Ralph. I'm doing my best to try to get the younger audience in here by going in vertical. What's the matter, you? Thanks for showing. Let's OTVO, as always, thanks for being there and having Brick's back. And, Brick and Let's OTVO were some of the only people who were there for Chile when he was unlawfully locked up, and supporting him. So give me a bunch of ones for Brick and Let's for showing up. Life Under the Microscope, all you guys, Jeff, Grateful Dabs. I think I got all you. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Do you have anything you want to say before we wrap it up, brother?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, we might not be the biggest channel right now. I'm happy to go out there and do any kind of government accountability operation that I possibly can. Right now, we're kind of tied up with this particular thing, and perhaps once we get some of this cleared up and get some answers and maybe some accountability on that, in the future, I'm sure that some other things will be in the works. This is definitely something that I like. I love to do this. I really believe that a lot of departments, the officers, the people who are working for the government don't understand our rights. They don't understand where our rights come from. Our founders recognized that our rights come from an unalienable rights that come from an all-powerful, all-knowing God. And so those rights are natural rights. They're the rights that were given to us at birth. They're the rights that were given to us at conception. And so we have the right to live life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And because of that, those in the Bill of Rights, they're in conjunction with those three rights as well. All of our rights are in conjunction with each other. So if you're violating one, you're violating them all. If you're exercising one, you're exercising them all. That's my view of it. I know some people won't fully understand what I'm saying there, but if you really understand what the founders were laying out with the philosophy behind natural law and adding in those particular clauses to our Bill of Rights, if you study that, you'll understand that they were really trying to lay out a foundation of an educational document. The Bill of Rights, the Constitution, is an educational document. It's letting us know what our natural rights are, and if we don't exercise our rights, we'll lose them.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, we have far more unalienable rights. They just mentioned a few of them, and that's because there was a battle between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. In one of my other shows, I'll I'll cover the battle between. So I'm an anti-federalist. I'm a Jeffersonian and more like John Locke guy.
Gotcha.
You know, so, but we'll get into it and we'll talk more about it
Yeah.
in our future episodes.
I
Cause
like it.
I appreciate it that you want to learn and you're driven by a love of liberty and in pursuit of happiness. And that's what I'm into as well, brother. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show. Cause you know, people like
Thank
you,
you.
you know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate guys like you who go the extra mile for people who seek liberty and freedom. And so I hope you guys all enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks, Jeff. And give me a bunch of ones again for Brick and Let's OTVO. I'm going to take my son to judo tonight and maybe tomorrow. I may not come on tomorrow night, guys. And as some of you may know, I've been having some health issues as well. So I'm not 100%. But, you know, I care about you guys and I hope that you're safe out there. And always, when you're recording, make sure you have somebody else there with you. You need a witness. Stay safe. Try not to get arrested. Because, you know, I'm only licensed to practice law in Texas and California. I can't help everybody. But with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. And Brick, say your goodbyes, and I'm going to close this out. All right.
All right. Later, fam. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Semper Fi, do or die.